Self-sabotage is a devastating psychological phenomenon, and it is also quite difficult to spot because so frequently our lives get hectic and there are so many excuses to not do the thing that you say you're going to do or to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. And so it's hard to balance self-compassion with accountability. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to spot self-sabotage and how you can pull yourself out of the rut. So let's get into it. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Charlotte, and I'm on a journey to becoming awesome. Like, I just want to be more awesome, and I want to achieve my goals. That's about it. And I'm a work in progress on this channel. I say that frequently. I don't like to pretend I'm a perfect person like some other personal development gurus tout their incredible, achievements and accolades and make it sound like they're perfect. I'm not. In fact, I am currently in the process of self-sabotaging. Oh no. So that's why I've been drawn to this topic. So I'm going to talk about my personal experience that I'm going through right now, and maybe it might resonate with you. First, let's talk about why self-sabotage is so difficult to spot. So some background. I've been trying to grow this YouTube channel, and I have two goals. My first goal is one that is entirely within my control, and that is output one video a week and then also upload shorts, right? So I have about 7 or 8 deliverables every week that I try to put out on this channel. Then the ultimate goal that I don't have control over is 100,000 subscribers. And I know that if I just consistently put out content, I'm going to get there. The thing is, I stopped putting out content for like 4 weeks. Oh no. Oh no. I opened this video talking about balancing accountability with compassion. And I think that is an important aspect to this, because if I outline to you what has been going on in my life the past few months, you may say it's perfectly reasonable why I missed 3 to 4 video uploads. I had a death in the family, so I lost my lead of having a few videos prepared before they were going up, and I started having to produce videos the week of. So I was kind of on a rat race. And it's not a huge deal. It's not ideal. Then I had a planned vacation, and I was trying to get ahead again and produce 3 weeks ahead, but it was too much because I also had work deadlines. And if you don't know what I do for a living, because I'm not super vocal about it, but I'm not keeping it a secret, I'm a journalist in the United States of America. I work for a major news organization, and it was just the election. I don't know if you heard about it, but yeah, I got very busy at work at the same time. And then I had a lovely surprise where a friend invited me to see David Tennant in Macbeth in the West End in London. And so I hopped on a plane and I went to London and then Paris for like 5 days. And I just totally did not think about this channel because I'm like, when am I going to get this opportunity again? So you could say I had a lot going on and my YouTube channel was not a priority. That's being compassionate. However, I would still say I'm self-sabotaging because the only person I am responsible for in my life is me. I had free time that I could have been dedicated to this channel, and I chose not to. I chose to not write. And the most time-consuming part of producing a YouTube channel, in my opinion, is writing. It's thinking. It's coming up with ideas. I made an active choice to scroll on TikTok instead of writing, or to watch other YouTube videos instead of writing. The other self-sabotaging thing I did was I actually did make a video that I started editing. And I'm like, this doesn't align with me. I don't like how I articulated any of this. I don't like the content. It doesn't feel like I was talking from an authentic place. And I scrapped it. I got rid of it. And then I realized I was afraid to publish. It was a vulnerable topic and I was afraid to publish. So my fear was sabotaging me. I think both things were true. I feel like I did not speak in a way that is aligned with who I am. I used language that I don't agree with in the video. And then the topic was about being single and, dating and stuff like that. And I talk about that quite regularly on TikTok, but for some reason, it felt different publishing it on YouTube, and I don't know why. That's something I have to explore a little more. The point here is there's always going to be a lot going on. There's always going to be other things vying for your attention and your energy that you can prioritize over your goal. And you will find someone, whether it is yourself or someone in your life, who will say it is completely reasonable that you didn't get the thing done. I can acknowledge that it's true. I had a lot more happening in September and October than I had a few months prior. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge that there were internal cues holding me back from doing the work. It didn't have to be perfect work. It didn't have to be like the best thing I've ever produced. It just had to be enough to publish to maintain consistency. And I didn't do it. I did not even do the bare minimum. I didn't even try. And that to me is self-sabotage. Here are some steps to determine whether you are self-sabotaging, because the whole thesis of this video is it's hard to figure it out and it's hard to hold yourself accountable while still being gentle with yourself. First question I ask myself is, what's the original goal? And you may think this is obvious, but it's actually not. Reminding yourself what your goal actually is crucial to doing the things you got to do to get them done. I have two goals. One is an outcome goal and one is an output goal. An outcome goal is something you really can't control. So 100,000 subscribers. I can't control if you subscribe to me. I can ask you to subscribe to me. Oh, hey. That's ultimately not a really good metric of how well I'm doing at like working towards my goal. The output goal is something that is 100% within my control. And that is putting out one video a week and also uploading 5 to 7 shorts a week. I can do that. If your goal is an outcome goal, something that you really can't control, then you may want to rethink whether it is actually achievable. If you're trying to get a new job and your goal is get a new job, obviously, that's an outcome goal that you can't control whether someone gives you a job, but you can set an output goal of network with 5 new people every month. That's something you can do. That's entirely within your control. Identifying whether it's an output or an outcome goal will help you stop self-sabotaging, because so frequently people only have outcome goals and you cannot control whether you make progress towards that end. You can only control your output. Sometimes you really can't tell if you're making progress towards your outcome goal in certain situations. It sometimes happens all at once and you can get discouraged. So that's the first thing. Remind yourself, what is your output goal? Now ask yourself, what are you doing to get to your output goal? If you're actually working towards your goal, you're going to be able to say something. And for the past few weeks, I was not able to say anything. And you can say, oh, it's understandable. You had so much going on. And that's true. But I wasn't even doing any of the bare minimum steps I needed to do towards my output goal. I could have been writing down possible video ideas. I wasn't even doing that. And that is where the accountability comes in. Next question, did you overcommit yourself? Did you take on too much? How much are you doing right now? And is all of it important? Because that is another way we self-sabotage, especially if you're an overachiever. We self-sabotage by trying to do too much and then you do nothing. Take a look at your active areas of responsibility in your life. There's always going to be at least 3. How you make your money, or like your livelihood, your job, your family, and your friends. This can be 2 separate ones if you have a lot of family and a lot of friends and you feel like you need to dedicate more time to them, and your health and well-being. You got 3 right there. Those are 3 areas of responsibility. And realistically, you can only really add 2 more if you want to not go overboard. Mine are my YouTube channel, and I have a top secret project. That's my pinky. Shh. There's only like 12 people in the world that I don't want to know about this thing, and I just can't talk about it, period. Upsetting, devastating, tragic. Another question, are you looking too far ahead? So I'm an INFJ. I like to think ahead. It's problematic sometimes because then I don't do the work that needs to get done now. And so I am doing that with this channel, and I found myself doing that because I was thinking about, okay, what if I want to start providing people with resources? What's the best way to do that? How do I build out a website? How do I do this? Because so many people are asking for resources such as Notion templates or something like that. And that is actually a lot of work. I don't think people realize how much effort goes into that. So I was starting to think about an infrastructure that I would need to build, how much money that would cost and all that stuff. And guess what I stopped doing? I stopped making videos. That's self-sabotage, bro. Sure, I'm thinking about an adjacent aspect to the YouTube channel, which would be building out, like, I don't know, a newsletter or something like that. But that's still not making videos. And so I'm being compassionate with myself, and I'm thinking like, okay, I am an ambitious person who wants to do it all, but you're still self-sabotaging by doing that. You have to understand that. Next question I asked myself, where's your time going? How are you spending it? Are you scrolling? I was scrolling. I was scrolling a lot. And frequently I think of scrolling as like, I'm staying up to date with my medium. I'm in media. It's my job. And I frequently get inspiration for ideas, whether it's for my 9 to 5 or for my personal channel. And I am lying to myself. This is not productive. Scrolling is not productive after an extent. Also, YouTube. I was watching a lot of YouTube. I tell myself, I'm doing research. No, you're not. You're enjoying yourself. You're not doing the work you need to get done. And it got to the point where I would sit down to try to write this video right now that I am telling you, because like I said, making these videos, it's about writing. That's the most time consuming part, is thinking through what I want to say. And every time I pulled up my computer, I would get distracted because there was something blocking me, whether it was perfectionism or like just writer's block, that wouldn't let me do it. So guess what I did? I pulled out a notepad and I started writing. And so this whole thing is written on a notepad, and that's what I had to do in order to make it get down on paper. Because if it's not down on paper, the videos end up being messy. Messy. Oh my goodness. Going along with the overcommitment thing, did you plan for setbacks? I knew I had a really busy September and October, and I thought, oh, I'm still going to output one video a week. Why did I think that? You're a human being. You only have so much time, attention, and energy. I knew I had a vacation planned. I knew another thing that happened at work was my boss went on maternity leave, and I have a new boss now, and their workflow is very different, and I had to get used to a whole new workflow at my job. And like, it's been a little chaotic. And why didn't I plan for this? Why didn't I think ahead? Like, okay, maybe you need to just plan on doing 2 videos this month, or something like that, or just do shorts or something. Like come up with an alternative where you can take a step back from the workload while still outputting somewhat of a consistent schedule. And I didn't do it because I'm like, no, I'll get it done. It's fine. It was not fine. It was not fine. It didn't work out. Ultimately, the stakes are pretty low. I'm getting back on track, right? It's like this situation, it's not a huge deal. And that's where the compassion comes in. Like, look, you fell off the wagon for a few weeks. You're getting back on track. You're figuring things out. Have grace with yourself. And that is a very important part to figuring it out. So let's talk about that now. I literally titled this chapter, How to Cut It Out. First thing, you got to do it messy. I don't know how this video is going to turn out. I don't know if people are going to like it, because I'm talking about myself a lot, and that's not something I usually do. My goal here is not to share with you about my life. My goal is to share with you what I'm learning and how I'm applying it, and hopefully it's helpful to you. But this is the video I felt I needed to make. And that's what I'm doing it messy. Remove distractions. So like I said, I started handwriting my notes because I could not be trusted with a computer. Whether it was my phone or my computer or my iPad, I had to remove all distractions and just make myself right. Stop trying to optimize. And this goes along with doing it messy. So like I mentioned, I was trying to do this resource building newsletter, sort of like how do I create a system where I can give people resources. And I was trying to optimize it for a future that doesn't exist yet, right? I'm thinking about it, but the thing I need to actually focus on is being consistent with content. So I'm still thinking about that stuff, and I was doing some research and all of that, but I need to just make the video. Like, I couldn't put it off any longer. You have to just make the video. The cure to self-sabotaging is to do it imperfectly. It's to have grace with yourself, while also saying, look, you are not doing what you said you told yourself you're doing. You're better than that. You care about yourself more than that. You deserve this. Sit down and do it. What's stopping you? And we can talk about why we self-sabotage. I feel like most people watching this video already have an inkling of why they self-sabotage, but we can talk about that. Self-sabotage can stem from a lot of things. It can stem from a fear of failure, which is where perfectionism comes in. Like, you have this beautiful idea of what you want it to look like, and you don't want the thing to flop, and you want to make it the way you envision it. And when you actually start to execute it, you worry that it's not going to look the way you want it to look. Thomas Sanders made this incredible vine that I have never been able to find on the internet, but basically he has this idea for this beautiful origami like swan that he knows what he wants it to look like, and then when he attempts it, the piece of paper comes out crumpled, and then he shows it to his friends and he's like, oh guys, this sucks. And they're like, oh my God, that's incredible. That's an amazing thing. And that's truly what making anything is. It's not, I'm not kidding. It's you have these lofty expectations, and then you show it to somebody and you're like, doesn't this suck? And they're like, no, this is great. What are you talking about? They don't know what it was supposed to look like. They can't see the swan. They can see the paper that you presented to them, and they think it's awesome. This is a little bit of a side tangent, but I know that people like to share memes about how messy they feel like they are and how they don't have their life together and all that stuff. And I don't relate. I think I do have my life together. Life may seem messy and out of control sometimes, but like, dude, I have one of these things. Like, I have all of my mail in here. I'm not messy. I'm not out of control. I'm organized. I stay on top of things to the best of my ability in such a hectic society. What we all really need is like a personal assistant, don't we? And life can be very difficult to keep up with sometimes, but all in all, I think I'm doing really well. And that's what I go back to every time I take a step back and I'm just like, okay, I dropped the ball a little bit, but I'm still doing pretty damn good. So sometimes we self-sabotage because we're afraid of failure, but other times we self-sabotage because we're afraid of success. We're afraid like of, oh wow, if this thing grows, if I actually achieve what I said I'm going to achieve, what next? This has been a goal of mine for so long. I don't know if I'm ready for it. And I see that a lot in various areas of life, money, all that stuff. Like I see people self-sabotaging when they're this close to the goal. And it could be because they're afraid of the implications of reaching or becoming successful. It could be because they don't actually feel like they deserve it. And so they're like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. That is something where you have to actually sit down and think about why you feel that way and where that's coming from. It also means you're afraid of change. You're afraid like, oh, if I achieve this thing, like with the YouTube channel, this could be a way of, I don't know, like starting a career, a different career, entering a different field, because it opens opportunities and then you have to make choices and you have to enter the unknown. And that's scary. That's scary. Ultimately, self-sabotage is us protecting our subconscious from unknowns, from leaving our comfort zone. And it is about you understanding that there's some scared part of you that is not allowing yourself change. And that's when you start to make breakthroughs. So now that we know what self-sabotage is, maybe you should check out this video about how to actually take radical responsibility for everything in your life, because I feel like they're kind of adjacent. Compassionate accountability is the name of the game. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think below. Consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.